Welcome, my friend, to Program Management Monday. Such a pleasure to have you here again. I know lots of you are looking for program manager roles, so we're going to take a look at the job boards and see what's out there this week. Let's put in the word program management and see what comes up. So we've got Meals on Wheels program manager. 50 to 55,000 a year. That is on the low side for project manager. Nonetheless, let's click on it and let's see the job description. Let's see what it says. All right, so it's looking in Mesa, Arizona, and let's see the key things. They want 3 years of experience, and honestly, these are not bad entry-level program manager jobs. You can see they want supervisory experience, logistical operations, service to older adults. And there are different kinds of program management positions. So I would expect to find more program manager positions in other states. For example, in New York, for example, New York program director, manager program management office. That's a good one. Okay. 105K is still on the low side for a manager of a PMO, but nonetheless, you can see that there are jobs out there that will be looking for program manager type roles, facilitate PMO working sessions, summarize next steps, open items during PDT milestone meetings, so on and so forth. Bachelor's degree, let's see if they want a PMP. Strong computer skills in Microsoft Project. I've been telling people you got to get good with project and these office things because they're quite big. Competencies, courage, creativity, customer focus, dealing with ambiguity. Well, if you ask me, doesn't this sound like leadership? Let's go on to Amazon and see what Amazon has. I know Amazon has a lot of program related jobs. So let's go straight to this one, program manager. There we go. 5 years of program manager experience, project management experience. Let's click on it. That's in China. Okay. Understand scope and evaluate CNKR impact. But I don't see any specific certifications like PMP. This just goes a long way to show you that these days, a lot of the program related jobs that you might find out there are not necessarily asking you to have a PMP or even a PgMP. Program Manager Salary Rewards Program. This is in India. Note the term program manager. Okay. These are all program management roles. Preferred qualifications, Lean, DMAIC, that's Six Sigma, Access, SQL. So you can see how these jobs are being posed for these positions. Schedule Program Manager, APJC Construction Program. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. I go straight to the qualifications because I want to know what they're looking for. Bachelor's in Civil or Construction, Project Management or an equivalent discipline, 10 years of experience in project control, cost or schedule, formulating construction programs, 10 plus years, competently using Primavera. Now, why do we need 10 years? Come on now, that's a bit extreme. So this will weed out a lot of people, unfortunately, if this is what they're looking for. It even says basic qualifications. So that's crazy. Understanding of SQL, highly valued. Microsoft Project, they're asking for a lot in this position, a whole lot of stuff. But I mean, it's their job. They can ask for whatever they want, right? Preferred qualifications. Oh, earned value. This is right down my alley. So earned value is still alive and well, as you can see in some industries. I'm very surprised. This is Amazon, by the way. So Amazon is applying EVM to their construction, which isn't a bad thing at all. Well-developed numerical, analytical, conceptual problem solving. So you see where this is going, my friends. I keep telling you, when you're going for these interviews, You got to understand, ain't nobody asking you, you got to present a PMP. There's not even a trace of PMP here. There's not even a trace of PGMP. Now, it will give you an edge if you have the PMP, the PGMP, not so much. So let's go back over here. I'm going to take out the location and we're just going to do a search for PGMP. Let's just do a vanilla flavored search for PGMP. So let's see if it comes up remotely. Let's click on this. So this is project manager. This is project manager. This is program manager. Let's see what it says. Okay. So PGMP or PMP certification from PMI. So there it's mentioned. It's mentioned in a few places, which is like, thank goodness. All right. Program manager, hybrid remote, 116 to 175. That's kind of the range Intel. Okay. And strong candidate will demonstrate the following. I'm looking for the PGMP mention. Certifications in P. Okay. So preferred qualifications, PMI ACP, PGMP, CSM. So not bad. I mean, if you had that, it definitely would boost you in a job like this. Okay. So some of these jobs do want a PGMP, and that's good. There's another one, 85 bucks an hour. Probably a PGMP would be mentioned there. But, you know, as you look at these, be aware still, I'm trying to give someone some encouragement here. Be aware that even though PGMP is mentioned, it is not mandatory. It will give you an edge. It all depends on how you perform in the interview. So it says PGMP or PMP from PMI or other program or project management certification. You see, they're not like hard line, it has to be PGMP. Because how many PGMPs are there in the world? Now, I'm not knocking PGMP. I believe it's a very good certification for those who are able to go for it, but I want you to know that the interview is not going to say, oh, well, because you don't have this, you're going to be marginalized. No. I'm going to show you today 21 possible type of interview questions if you're going for any of these jobs, whether you're going for the ones on Amazon or you're going for some of these on Indeed, or you decide to go for the ones here on Dice. Let's see what we have for program. I like the layout on Dice. It's very straightforward. Director IT Program Management, Manager Technical Program Management, Program Manager, the People's Office, Program Manager Technology. Some interesting jobs here. There's definitely some jobs you can play with. Program Manager Non-Tech 5. Let's see what this is. Okay. It's got a suite of them. We've got some similar jobs there. Fun opportunity in Redmond. Let's read the full description. Okay, 6-month contract. Okay, not bad. There's absolutely nothing wrong in tipping your toe into some, you know, some of these contract type program manager roles and seeing, you know, seeing what they actually need, what they want, go for the interview, start getting a little bit more into program manager type interviews. It will help you. All right, so today I'm going to show you very rapidly the 21 program manager interview questions. We started this a while back. We didn't absolutely seal the deal on it. So I want to go through these ideas with you and just share the pool of questions that I would highly suggest you should be thinking about. Okay. Don't be thinking about tools and techniques, you know, when you come into these interviews alone. Instead of just tools and techniques, I think you should be hyper-focused on leadership, strategy, decision-making, communications, stakeholder engagement, and things such as that, okay? So we've already gone through most of the questions, but let's rapidly cover. Number one is strategic thinking, right? You could be asked, how do you prioritize stakeholder needs? How do you ensure that they align to the program? Okay, so that's the first one. And when you're answering questions like this, you must think rationally and in a line of order, not just randomly. I have videos where I have answered these questions. I believe there's 5 episodes that you can easily go back and listen to. I'll give them to you very quick. So you got to conduct a stakeholder analysis to do this. And after you've done a stakeholder analysis, you then craft a plan, a roadmap for this alignment. Number 2, you discover a potential budget constraint while building a training program. How would you adapt your approach to ensure program effectiveness? So for something like this, you got to be all up in the business of having a budget to begin with, right? And as a program manager, you should have experience in adhering to financial limitations. And this is where you need to talk about such expertise, where you have done it in the past. Number 3, assuming you get a question that says, our community-powered growth initiatives are evolving rapidly, describe an agile framework you would implement to keep the program relevant. You saw agile is relevant in these interviews. So you need to be able to speak to an agile framework, whether it's Scrum, whether it's Kanban, but don't go into the interview empty-handed, just relying on dumb luck. Really be ready to talk about your agile as a program manager. Number 4, can you analyze past community engagement metrics and propose strategic improvements to be incorporated into a program? So the idea here, you really want to make it clear that you are one who relies heavily on what the data says. You don't rely on dumb luck. You rely on data, right? Continuous feedback loops with stakeholders and being an empirical minded person by taking information about real occurrences and data and putting that back into production. Number 5, imagine a competitor's community program achieving notable success. How do you assess the approach? So how do you learn from the competition? The wrong answer would be, well, we don't care about the competition. We just care about what we're doing. No, that would be the wrong answer. So you should say something to the effect of, I will conduct a comprehensive analysis of competitor programs. I will identify successful elements and I will integrate those into my program approach or whatever. All right. Let's move on to the next. Next one is leadership and teamwork. You encounter resistance from let's go back. You encounter resistance from a critical stakeholder regarding a proposed trading module, or it could be framed, you experience resistance from a stakeholder, period. What would you do about it? And the right thing to say is you see stakeholder feedback or stakeholder resistance as a signal that there's something that needs to be addressed. So you want to show that you have a positive mental attitude towards stakeholder resistance, because it's like an arm is hurting you or a leg is hurting you. It's an indication that there's something else fundamentally wrong or flawed in the program, or even on a lower level, a project level. So the quicker you address it, the better. Okay, describe a time when you fostered collaboration with a diverse team to achieve a challenging project goal. How can you apply this experience to lead in this program? So the idea how you would answer this is, again, one of a positive mental attitude, right? Drawing from past experience, you could say, I would emphasize transparency, openness, and communication, and I would foster an inclusive environment that values diverse perspectives. All right. And just so you know, for those of you program managers who may be struggling in your program management game, I have a coaching program where I coach program managers. All right, let's move on. Let's go to the next one. So how would you build a strong rapport with a global community? Like you have a global community of stakeholders and you need to get feedback. How would you do that? Again, your answer needs to be something to the effect of, I will meet regularly with my stakeholders, I'll personalize communication, and I'll endeavor to understand nuances in stakeholder communication globally. Number 9, you identify a knowledge gap within a specific team impacting their community interactions. Explain your approach to developing and delivering targeted training to address this issue. So this is where you wear your mentoring hat and you say something to the effect of, first of all, I will conduct team analysis. When I understand where the team is at, where they need to be developed, how they need to be improved, then I will target training and development. I'll have a combination of interactive sessions, role-specific content, and I would address ongoing issues. I will also put in place mechanisms to support their training needs go forward. Delegating tasks effectively, number 10, is crucial in this role. Can you share an example of how you empower team members and ensure ownership of their responsibilities? So you need to speak to this and just say that your approach is a situational leadership approach where you equip people for whatever they're going to get delegated to them. It's an approach in which you don't keep people in a directing type subservient position. Instead, you grow the team through giving them increasing levels of accountability. You grow them into where you can delegate things to them for them to be in control of. You give them that team autonomy, so on and so forth. All right, let's move on. Going into technical execution skills. So explain your experience with developing and managing learning programs or any kind of program. So if you're going into construction, it will be, tell us of a construction program you've managed in the past, or an IT program. It's fair game. Now, if you haven't managed a program from that industry, you got to be ready to show parallels. You got to be ready to show how the skills are interchangeable, as it were, between these programs, because a good program manager should be able to manage any program, right? You need to rapidly increase your skills and abilities, your domain knowledge, and off you go. That's how it works. You're tasked with launching a digital communal interface for the community managers. Describe your approach to user onboarding, content migration, and ensuring platform adoption. So this sounds more like a technical role, obviously. You should be ready to answer technical questions. Just remember, the 5 domains are your friends. When I say the 5 domains, I'm talking about the GASP-B model, the governance, G for governance. Do you remember? Because I've taught that on this channel before. G for governance, A for alignment, B for benefits, S for stakeholder, and P in the middle for program lifecycle, right? And in the program lifecycle, we talk about the planning aspect, we talk about the delivery aspect, and so on. The defining, the development, and the ultimate delivery of whatever you've done, right? So when you think about any question needs to be answered within these confines. Just remember, when it comes to the planning aspect, the defining aspect, you gotta think about your initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing. So when you get a question with describe your approach to anything, always think systemically, always think in a framework. So you could say something to the effect of, I would start a comprehensive onboarding plan. I would start with planning. I would have tailored training sessions in the execution of the plan. I would use user-friendly documentation, and I would use a phased content migration strategy. Okay, so always think in a framework, it will help. All right, let's move on. Number 13, how would you leverage data analytics? So you want to say data analytics is huge. I would leverage this very heavily in getting insights as far as effectiveness of the program. I would use this to glean my KPIs, my key performance indicators. I'd use that to measure effectiveness, and I'll have regular data reviews. So you want to big up the concept of data, leveraging it. All right, number 14, describe your process for gathering and implementing feedback from field teams to continuously integrate on the program. So of course, this is more like in the monitoring and controlling. So you could say, I will engage in regular feedback loops. The field team would feed this to me through surveys they do. I will also incorporate focus groups and one-on-one discussions. Number 15, share an example of a complex program you manage from planning to completion, highlighting your project management and resource allocation skills. So you want to go in really ready to talk about things like this. For me, one of the most complex programs with all the moving parts was a divestiture with program management at the high level, which was me, and then project managers at the departmental level for everything being divested. In your case, you got to speak to your own unique program. For example, you could say, I successfully managed a complex program from planning to completion by employing a robust program management framework. I ensured blah, blah, blah. Every project had a suite of tools to use. There was regular interfaces and updates with the project managers on the program. There were milestones, there was governance, there was resource allocation, there was stakeholder engagement. So just mention the GAPSB, right? It will always help you. All right, let's move on. Problem solving and adaptability. A technical issue unexpectedly disrupts the launch of a critical training module. How would you quickly assess the situation, implement a workaround, and minimize impact on the schedule? Like I've said before, the frameworks is what is going to help you. You got to think about the frameworks. This is another framework that I put together to help people with problem solving. I call it the Dixiv approach. So you could say, whenever I'm addressing problems, I follow a prescribed PMI prescribed framework. Now, PMI doesn't necessarily call this framework out, but I did. I call it the DIGCIV because D is define the problem, I is identify the root cause, G is generate alternatives, C is choose the best alternative, I is implement the alternative, and V is verify that it actually worked. So as opposed to just stabbing in the dark, I have a specific line of thought. When I'm defining the problem, I could break it down into smaller pieces. I could gather data. Then I identify the root cause. Then I work with a team to generate alternatives. I don't do this alone, so on and so forth. So you need to be able to speak to your own unique approach. And you do know what a workaround is because when we talk about a workaround in the world of risk, it is an unplanned response to a risk as a result of a previous response not being effective or an unplanned response to an emergent occurrence, something happening just now. So always keep that in mind. Okay, there's a difference. So you could say in the event of a technical issue disrupting a training module, I would initiate a rapid assessment using the Dixiv approach. And when you ask what is a Dixiv, you could actually, before they ask, just expand on it, right? Then I communicate transparently with stakeholders when I have come up with an idea of how we can work around this, I implement it, and then I verify that it worked, right? I collaborate with the team swiftly to resolve the issue while maintaining impact on the schedule. So you want to let them know that you will be all over that thing. All right, let's go on to the next one. Question 17. Imagine facing a significant unexpected increase in community hosts requiring onboarding. So assuming you got a bunch of stakeholders or you got a bunch of people you need to onboard, or, like in programs, especially like in Amazon programs, it's very stakeholder specific. So imagine there's a spike in your work. What would you do? That's really what this is trying to see. How would you solve the problem? So you could say rapid scaling would involve developing modular content, leveraging online platforms, and potentially incorporating automation. A phased approach combined with scalable resources could be a solution. You got to be able to think on your feet, my friends. Whatever they throw at you, you got to be able to think on your feet. When you're given a question about problem solving for volume, you got to think about scaling. That's how you answer that question. Number 18, you discover a discrepancy between the needs of different community regions. How would you tailor the program to address these unique requirements while maintaining consistency? So you could answer like this. I would address regional variations on my program by customizing the content through language and delivery methods. I would also rely on regular feedback from regional stakeholders, assigned project managers, and proactive adjustments would ensure the program maintains consistency while addressing unique requirements. Let's move on to number 19, problem solving and adaptability. And the question is, share a time you encountered a major setback in a project. How did you overcome the challenge and ensure successful completion? So it could be the program, it could be the project, it depends. You need to think of your own unique situation. Okay. So you could say, when I faced a major setback, I engaged the team to firstly inspire and motivate them and work on a collaborative problem-solving session. We identified root causes, we adjusted the project plan accordingly, and clear communication and a proactive approach were crucial in ensuring the team remained motivated, leading to a successful project completion. Number 20, still in problem solving and adaptability. As technology and community trends evolve, how would you stay informed and ensure the program remains relevant and impactful? So this is really all about what we call in the world of business, boundary spanning. You got to span the boundaries. You got to scan what is happening outside the firm. You got to see what's happening in the world of business outside of the firm. So you could say continuous learning and industry engagement would be my strategy. Regular participation in industry forums, webinars, and networking events, combined with monitoring technological advancements, ensures the program remains at the forefront of community trends. And that's how you would answer those first 20 questions. I would highly advise you to listen to what I have said over and over again, because the more you listen, the more it's going to stick, the more it's going to make sense. Let me give you one more bonus question. Imagine you have the opportunity to design a dream program for our company. Describe the key features, the benefits, and how it would drive outstanding community engagement and growth. Again, this is a trick question to find if you are paying attention to the industry and relevance of the projects and programs in the firm so far. So you could say, if I was designing a dream program, the dream program would be comprehensive. It would offer blah, 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 whatever you feel it will offer. If it's personalized learning, if it's personalized solutions, whatever it is, interactive modules. If we're talking about a learning environment, you could say gamified elements. If you're talking about healthcare, you could say tailored services, tailored products specifically for the client. If you're talking about engineering, again, you could say harnessing the voice of the customer very heavily, right? You would employ that to learn more about what the customer really wants, and you would engage them every step of the way, because this would be more like an R&D thing first, and you would use the concept of the MVP, the minimum viable product, to ensure that you are on the right path, and you'll be more agile in tweaking the solution and the product that the program is ultimately trying to satisfy over a period of years. And there you have it, my friends. We have come to the end of 21 program manager interview questions. I think the last time we met, we ran over questions 10 to 15 or so, but this is all of them. Now we are totally done. Okay. If you're looking for coaching and training in your program management, you want to up your game. Honestly, it's all about leadership, my friends. Program management is a leadership job. It's like you're a mini CEO. You got to understand how the game is played. It's the GABSP, as PMI says, it's the governance. You got to have solid governance understanding, and you got to understand your environment, alignment, understand truly the organization and how your program aligns with it. Understand the concept of benefits and the benefits that you are truly looking to implement. Think about stakeholder, right? Stakeholder engagement. So I've said GABSP quite a number of times. GAB, right? Governance, alignment, benefits, stakeholders. Don't forget the P in the middle. The dudes do cook mnemonic. I've talked about it on this panel before, where you are thinking about the delivery of the solution and the sustainment of the solution, the continuity. We've talked about this before, okay? If you're looking for additional content to help you, you can get this book, Demystifying Program Management, on Amazon. You can find some of my other audiobooks on program management on Amazon for those of you who are looking to increase your program management game. So important. All right, my friends. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I wish you all the best in your job search and your program management. You take care, and bye for now.